Number 1. The capital of adult films and beer in Europe. You may know that the Czech Republic is famous for its medieval castles, but few would guess that this country is also considered the largest center for the adult film industry in Europe. With a population of just under 11 million, the Czech Republic accounts for about 13% of the total number of actors in this field worldwide. When adjusted for population, this means that approximately 7 out of every 100,000 people have directly participated in the industry. Thanks to its large and stable operations, this unique entertainment sector generates around $650 million annually for the Czech Republic. Notably, the boom in this industry did not stem from economic hardship or unemployment. In fact, the Czech Republic is a developed nation with a per capita GDP exceeding $31,000, ranking among the top 50 most prosperous economies in the world. The open social environment and relatively flexible legal system have allowed this sector to be recognized as a legitimate industry. There have been professional athletes involved, families where children openly follow in their parents' footsteps, and even some politicians expressing support, arguing that this represents the freedom to choose a profession in modern society. In addition to its liberal mindset, the Czech Republic holds the record for the highest beer consumption in the world for over 30 consecutive years. According to 2024 data, the average beer consumption per person here is about 126 liters per year. However, this figure has significantly decreased from 2005, when consumption reached 163.5 liters per person. On average, each day, Czechs from infants to the elderly consume nearly 1 large glass of beer. Besides drinking a lot, the Czech Republic is home to a number of globally renowned beer brands such as Pilsner Urquell, Budweiser Budvar, Staropramen, Gambrinus, Radagast, and Bernard. Among these, Pilsner Urquell is considered a special symbol. This beer was born in 1,842 inches, the city of Plzeň, and is regarded as the world's first pale lager, serving as the foundation for about 90% of the beer styles consumed today. One detail that surprises many visitors is that in the Czech Republic, beer can sometimes be cheaper than bottled water. The average price for 1 liter of beer is only about $5, while bottled water can cost up to $7. This is one of the few countries where, when thirsty, people might hesitate between drinking water or ordering a beer. Beer is even used for bathing. Beer spas in the Czech Republic allow guests to soak in tubs filled with beer, yeast, hops, and natural extracts. Some spas even let guests soak while enjoying unlimited fresh beer, turning this experience into a unique cultural aspect of Czech tourism. Number 2. A place where beautiful women enjoy being loved. If there is a country that makes you unconsciously slow down while walking down the street, it is likely the Czech Republic. Czech women often possess features that are considered close to the golden ratio, with prominent cheekbones, balanced jawlines, and an overall harmonious face that leaves a strong impression at first glance. In addition to their faces, their figures are also a striking highlight. Czech women are among the tallest on average in Europe. They have slender bodies and long legs, but instead of appearing frail, they exude a healthy and agile look. On the streets, you can encounter many girls who look like they just stepped out of a fashion shoot, even when wearing simple outfits like jeans and t-shirts, with almost no elaborate makeup. This explains why the Czech Republic is the birthplace of many famous models worldwide. Names like Karolina Kurková, a former Victoria's Secret angel, as well as Eva Herzegová, Petra Niemcová, and Paulina Porizkova, all hail from this country and have established solid international careers. The beauty standards in the Czech Republic also differ from many other places in Europe. Czech women rarely wear heavy makeup. They prioritize neatness, naturalness, and comfort. As a result, many visitors are often shocked by how beautiful they are in real life, not just online. Some travel surveys indicate that many tourists rate Prague as a city with a higher ratio of attractive people in real life compared to promotional images online. Besides their appearance, Czech women also have a high level of education. It is quite common for them to be fluent in 2 or 3 languages, especially English and German, sometimes adding French or Russian. Czech society values gender equality, so women often have clear financial independence and career paths. This independence also influences how they view relationships. Many modern Czech women do not place heavy emphasis on being provided for. Instead, they care more about emotional compatibility, an active lifestyle, and a spirit of exploration. Reports from 2025 show that the number of Czech women over 30 seeking younger partners through dating apps like Tinder and Bumble has nearly doubled compared to previous years. They appreciate youthfulness, love to travel, and enjoy outdoor activities, all of which align well with the lifestyle in the Czech Republic. Additionally, Czech women enjoy being playfully hit. But it's not what you might be thinking. This is a tradition that takes place on the second day of Easter. During this time, men visit women they know and lightly tap their legs or bottoms with young willow branches. Czechs believe that the vitality of the spring willow branches will bring luck and health to women in the new year. Are you curious to know how to make friends from afar with beautiful girls in the Czech Republic? If so, comment too, and I will share more with you. Number 3. The firsts of the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic is often referred to as the country with the highest density of castles in the world. According to historical statistics, within its relatively small territory, the Czech Republic boasts over 2,000 castles and fortresses of various sizes. This phenomenon dates back to the medieval and Renaissance periods, when local lords and the Czech nobility continuously built castles to assert their status, power, and wealth. Additionally, during World War II, the Czech territory did not suffer from large-scale bombings, allowing many historical structures to remain almost intact to this day. Among these, Prague Castle stands out as the historical and political symbol of the nation. The structure was built in the 9th century and served as the residence of the Bohemian kings. Today, it is the working place of the President of the Czech Republic. Prague Castle is currently recognized as the largest ancient castle in the world by area, measuring approximately 570 meters in length, 128 meters in width, and covering a total area of nearly 70,000 square meters. If visitors walk through the entire complex, they could spend hours exploring the courtyards, churches, and palaces within. However, the Czech Republic is not only famous for its ancient architectural wonders, the country also possesses the deepest freshwater abyss ever explored by humans. This abyss is located in the town of Hranice, about 320 kilometers from the capital Prague, and is considered one of the most inexplicable natural phenomena in Europe. In 2016, a team of professional divers conducted an exploration of the Hranice abyss and confirmed its minimum depth to be 404 meters. By August 2022, new measurements indicated that the depth had exceeded 450 meters, setting a new record for freshwater abysses worldwide. Notably, this figure is not the final limit. Due to technological constraints, current exploration equipment has yet to reach the bottom, leaving the true depth of the Hranice abyss an unanswered question. In addition to castles and unique natural phenomena, the Czech Republic also holds a record that reflects its intellectual culture. It is the country with the highest density of public libraries per capita in the world. On average, there is one library serving the community for every 2,000 residents. At the Central Library of Prague, there is a famous artwork called Idiom. It is a towering book sculpture that reaches the ceiling, with mirrors placed at both ends, creating a visual effect of an infinite abyss formed by books. This installation has become a popular spot for visitors, especially those who love knowledge and installation art. What do you think the depth of this freshwater abyss could be? Please comment your predicted number below. Number 4. Unique customs of the Czech people. If you visit the Czech Republic on May 1st, you will witness a very distinctive scene. Many couples gather under blooming cherry trees to exchange kisses. For Czechs, May 1st is considered the official day of love, rather than February 14th, as in most of Europe and North America. According to folklore, kissing under the cherry blossoms on May 1st helps to ensure lasting love and a strong bond in relationships. The more the flowers bloom, the more complete the wishes for love are considered. In Prague, Petřín Hill is regarded as a symbolic meeting point for this tradition. Every year at the beginning of May, the area is almost covered in the pink and white hues of cherry blossoms, and the paths become a dating spot for all generations, from young couples to those who have been together for decades. Not only does the Czech Republic have a unique day of love, but Christmas also carries many distinctive traits. While many countries opt for turkey or ham, the traditional Czech Christmas dinner revolves around fried carp and potato salad. Carp is not bought pre-packaged, but is usually purchased live at Christmas markets a few days before the holiday. People take the carp home and keep it in the bathtub to keep it fresh and help it release any muddy smell. Children sometimes even name the carp and treat it as a temporary pet, leading to tearful scenes when the fish is eventually prepared for the meal. In addition to the culinary aspects, Christmas in the Czech Republic is also associated with many customs related to fortune-telling. One of these is apple cutting. When cutting an apple horizontally, if the seeds form a star shape, it is considered a sign of good luck, while a cross shape is seen as a bad omen. There is also the custom of pouring lead, where molten lead is poured into cold water, and the resulting shape is used to predict fortunes for the new year. Single women participate in the tradition of throwing a shoe over their shoulder towards the door. If the toe of the shoe points outward, it is believed that they will easily find a partner in the coming year. If it points inward, they are likely to remain single. These customs are typically carried out in a family atmosphere and are more entertaining than superstitious. As the new year approaches, Czechs maintain many interesting taboos. They avoid eating poultry because they believe that winged creatures can carry away good fortune. Instead, pork is favored, as it symbolizes abundance and prosperity. Additionally, Czechs also refrain from doing laundry and sweeping on New Year's Day due to concerns about washing away wealth. Number 5. The great inventions of the Czech people. Have you ever used soft contact lenses? This compact and familiar item is actually the invention of a Czech scientist named Otto Wichterle. Interestingly, the world's first soft contact lenses were not created in a modern laboratory, but were born right in his kitchen during Christmas. At that time, Wichterle utilized very ordinary items such as a transformer taken from a doorbell, a bicycle dynamo, a Merkur construction toy set for children, along with a piece of plastic and a marker pen. From these materials, he crafted a rudimentary spinning device to produce hydrogel contact lenses. On the surface, this device resembled a makeshift craft more than a scientific project. However, it opened the era of soft contact lenses and completely transformed modern optometry. Nearly 100 years earlier, the Czech Republic laid the groundwork for modern genetics. In the mid-19th century, in a quiet monastery in the city of Brno, monk Gregor Mendel spent most of his time growing and crossbreeding pea plants. From 1856 to 1863, he conducted over 29,000 experiments, observing traits such as flower color, seed shape, and plant height. From this data, Mendel derived the laws governing the inheritance of traits in organisms. However, at the time of publication, his research was not highly regarded by the scientific community. Mendel passed away in 1884 without knowing that just a few decades later, his work would become the foundation of modern biology. Today, Mendel's laws are taught in most biology textbooks around the world. As the 20th century began, another Czech scientist named Jan Janský made a significant breakthrough in medicine. He was the first to classify human blood into 4 distinct groups. Before this discovery, blood transfusions were extremely dangerous, as no one understood why some were successful while others led to death. Janský's work explained these differences, making blood transfusions safer and paving the way for many modern surgical techniques. Not only did Czechs contribute to science and medicine, but they also left their mark on language and thoughts about the future. In 1920, writer Karel Čapek first introduced the word robot to the stage in his play R.U.R. The term robot comes from the Czech word robota, meaning hard labor. In this work, robots are not metal machines, but artificial beings created to serve humans. No one could have imagined that a word appearing in a play over a century ago would become a symbol of technology, automation, and artificial intelligence today. Do you know of any other inventions by Czechs? Please share in the comments. Number 6. Other little-known facts. You might be surprised to learn that the Czech Republic is among the countries with the highest rates of atheism in the world. According to various sociological studies, as many as 91% of young people aged 16 to 29 identify as atheists. On a national scale, about 40% of the population reports that they do not believe in any deity, while nearly 30% prefer not to disclose their religious beliefs or simply avoid discussing the topic. Many scholars suggest that this high rate of atheism is directly linked to the period when the Czech Republic was under communist influence, during which religion was heavily restricted for a long time. After the regime collapsed, people gradually chose a more liberated lifestyle, less bound by faith. Today, in many cities in the Czech Republic, churches primarily serve architectural and tourist purposes rather than being venues for regular religious activities. When it comes to sports, the number one choice in the Czech Republic might surprise many. Instead of football, which is popular in most of Europe, Ice hockey is the most beloved sport. The country joined the International Ice Hockey Federation in 1908, and since then, the image of the curved stick and the cold ice rink has become a familiar symbol in the sports life of Czechs. The national men's team has frequently been among the Big Six, the six strongest teams in the world, standing alongside Canada, Russia, Sweden, Finland, and the USA. In addition to sports, Czechs have a rather simple yet incredibly popular pastime: mushroom picking. It is estimated that over 70% of the population participates in this activity at least once a year, making mushroom hunting a nearly national habit. The reason for this popularity is that the forest ecosystem in the Czech Republic is very safe. There is only one species of venomous snake nationwide, and its venom is so weak that it rarely poses a danger to humans. Wild animals like bears and wolves are almost non-existent, so walking alone in the woods here can sometimes feel just as safe as strolling through a city park. If you have ever considered learning Czech, be prepared for a challenge that is far from easy. Czech is classified among the hardest languages in the world, with over 250,000 vocabulary words, more than Russian, French, or Arabic. This language also features the letter R, which produces a very unique sound that is almost non-existent in any other widely spoken language. Even native Czechs sometimes need considerable time to pronounce this sound correctly. Number 7. Prague, the most beautiful capital in the world. When it comes to the Czech Republic, Prague is almost always the first name that comes to mind. This city boasts a history of over 1,000 years and has managed to preserve almost entirely its medieval European appearance to this day. Thanks to the combination of ancient architecture and harmonious urban space, Prague is often referred to as the jewel of Central Europe and consistently appears on lists of the most beautiful cities in the world. One of the most famous symbols of Prague is the astronomical clock, known as the horloge. This clock was installed in 1410, predating Columbus's voyage to America. What makes the horloge special is not just its age, but the fact that it is the oldest functioning astronomical clock in the world. Every hour, the clock not only tells the time, but also displays the movements of the sun, the moon, the zodiac signs, and the lunar calendar with astonishing accuracy. Locals often liken the horloge to a true time machine of the city. Right next to the horloge is the Old Town Square, an area bustling with tourists. It is characterized by colorful rows of buildings, distinctive pointed roofs, and street performers playing music throughout the day. Not far from there is Charles Bridge, an ancient stone bridge connecting both banks of the Vltava River, adorned with dozens of Baroque-style statues. In the early morning, or when the fog lightly blankets the area, Charles Bridge becomes one of the most photographed scenes in Prague. For a panoramic view of the city from above, Petřín Hill is a popular choice. At the top of the hill stands an observation tower inspired by the Eiffel Tower. Although much smaller in size, the Petřín Tower allows visitors to overlook the characteristic red rooftops that stretch across the capital. For those interested in contemporary art, the Lenin Wall is also a noteworthy stop. This is a free graffiti space where messages about peace, freedom, and music have been expressed through generations. However, amidst this ancient and romantic scenery, Prague is home to a structure that has been listed among the ugliest buildings in the world. That is, the Žižkov Television Tower, the tallest building in the Czech Republic at 216 meters. The tower has been referred to by names such as the giant skewered meat or the syringe piercing the sky. This is due to its modern design, which stands in stark contrast to the surrounding historic residential area. Even more striking, the tower features giant baby statues crawling up its sides, leaving many unsure whether to view it as art or a shocking spectacle. Number 8. The Czech Republic was once the center of power for all of Europe. Today, the Czech Republic is a small, landlocked country with a population comparable to that of a large city in Asia. However, in the past, this land was one of the most important power centers in Europe. There was a time when the king of this region held a status equal to that of the Pope, and Prague was not only the capital of a kingdom but also served as the unofficial capital of the entire continent. Several hundred years ago, this area was known as the Kingdom of Bohemia. In the context of medieval Europe, Bohemia held a special position within the Holy Roman Empire, a vast alliance of dozens of kingdoms and territories stretching from Central to Western Europe. The head of this alliance was the Holy Roman Emperor, a figure with supreme political power. However, this position was not inherited by bloodline, but was determined through election. The King of Bohemia was one of the 7 electors who had the right to vote on who would hold supreme power. Not only did Bohemia participate in elections, but it also directly placed its own people on the imperial throne. This figure was Charles IV, one of the greatest kings in Czech history. After ascending to the throne, he did not establish the center of power in traditional cities like Vienna or Aachen, but instead shifted the entire focus of the empire to Prague. From that point on, Prague became the true political center of the continent. Envoys, nobles, scholars, and merchants from all over Europe flocked here, transforming the city into a hub of power and knowledge, akin to the role of Washington, D.C. in the modern world. During this period, Charles IV founded Charles University, the first university in Central Europe. The goal of the university was not only to serve the people of Bohemia, but also to educate the intellectual class for the entire empire. This tradition of valuing scholarship contributed to the forward-thinking mindset of the people here. While much of Europe was still heavily influenced by the church, Bohemia saw the emergence of movements opposing corruption within religion. A notable figure was Jan Hus, a reformer who dared to challenge the authority of the church. He was burned at the stake, but his ideas spread throughout Europe and laid the groundwork for the later Protestant Reformation. Economically, Bohemia was also one of the wealthiest regions of its time due to its large silver mines. This resource helped build a strong army, grand churches, and impressive infrastructure. The Charles Bridge in Prague today is a remnant from this golden age, constructed when the city was at the height of its political and economic influence. However, the power of Bohemia gradually weakened after the death of Charles IV. Prolonged religious conflicts turned this land into a target for conservative forces. By 1620, the defeat at the Battle of White Mountain completely ended Bohemia's autonomy, ushering in a period of rule by the Austrian Empire. From a place that once played a decisive role in shaping the fate of Europe, Prague entered centuries of external governance. Number 9. Countries with a high percentage of lesbian population. If you think of a toilet merely as a utility for daily life and not worth exploring, the Museum of Toilet History in Prague might change your mind. This unique museum displays over 1,800 artifacts related to the history of sanitation, aiming to show how humans have addressed a very ordinary need throughout different historical periods. One of the most attention-grabbing exhibits is the collection of chamber pots believed to have belonged to famous figures. Visitors can see the chamber pot associated with Napoleon, the renowned emperor of Europe, as well as artifacts thought to be linked to Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States. Notably, the museum also houses an artifact believed to have belonged to Emperor Qianlong of China. In addition to personal items, the museum showcases the evolution of toilets across various civilizations, from ancient times to the modern era. Few people know that the earliest sanitation systems appeared in ancient Rome, where public toilets were constructed quite systematically and were considered a remarkable technical achievement of that period. Leaving Prague and heading to the town of Kutná Hora, you will encounter a completely different sight. The Sedlec ossuary, often referred to as the Bone Church. This is one of the most striking structures in the world, displaying the remains of approximately 60,000 individuals arranged throughout the chapel. As soon as visitors descend the first steps, they will see pillars made from human bones leading into the central area. Surrounding the church are large columns made from skulls, along with banners, crosses, and coats of arms entirely decorated with bones. The 4 large altars in the church also leave a strong impression, each featuring a crowned figure, reflecting the Christian belief that humans can transcend death to attain eternal life. According to historical records, in 1138 alone, around 30,000 people died from a plague and were buried in this area, not to mention the subsequent periods of war. By the 15th century, the skeletal remains were excavated from old graves and rearranged by the artisan František Rint, creating the distinctive appearance of the Sedlec ossuary as we see it today. Number 10. Interesting places in the Czech Republic. In the Czech Republic, debates have emerged over the years regarding whether human sexual orientation is innate or influenced by environmental factors and complex experiences during development. This topic has been extensively discussed in social and psychological research. Statistics show that the Czech Republic has one of the highest numbers of children growing up in institutional care within the European Union, with approximately 8,000 cases. Upon leaving these environments, many individuals struggle to reintegrate into society and stabilize their lives, often leading them to choose more precarious paths for survival compared to the general population. One common route is to engage in sensitive service industries. However, it is noteworthy that a significant proportion of women working in this sector in the Czech Republic report having no romantic feelings towards men. For them, the choice of this profession primarily stems from economic pressure and living conditions, rather than reflecting their personal emotional lives. Many have indicated that prolonged working environments have had considerable impacts on their physical and mental health, and in such circumstances, they often find more empathy from women who share similar experiences. Nevertheless, some argue that viewing this issue solely through the lens of modern society is insufficient. Archaeological findings in the Czech Republic suggest that diversity in gender roles may have existed in this region much earlier than previously thought. Near Prague, archaeologists excavated a set of remains dating back approximately 5,000 years. The skeleton was identified as that of a man, yet it was buried according to the rituals typically reserved for women during that period. According to ancient burial customs, men were laid to rest on their right side, facing west, accompanied by weapons, hunting tools, and survival items. Women, on the other hand, were positioned on their left side, facing east, with grave goods placed near their feet. However, in this particular grave, the body was found on the left side but facing west, along with artifacts that exhibited a blend of both genders, particularly household items. This discovery has been interpreted by many researchers as a sign that, thousands of years ago, people in this area may have perceived gender roles and personal identity in a more flexible manner than the rigid patterns we often associate with today. Number 11. Little-known facts about holidays in the Czech Republic. Not many people know that June 1st, which many countries have chosen as International Children's Day, actually stems from a heartbreaking tragedy that occurred in the Czech Republic. The story is linked to Lidis, a small village that was once very peaceful, nestled among green hills. On the night of the 1st of June, 1942, Nazi German forces surrounded and obliterated the entire village after suspecting that a family there was involved in the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, the Nazi governor of Bohemia and Moravia. Houses and churches were flattened, many residents were executed, and children were taken away, most of whom never returned. To commemorate the innocent victims, especially the children, in 1949, the Women's International Democratic Federation decided to designate June 1st each year as International Children's Day. In addition to these deeply significant commemorative days, the Czech Republic also hosts many unique folk festivals rooted in ancient beliefs. One of these is the witch-burning festival that takes place on the night of April 30th. According to traditional beliefs, this is the time when evil forces are at their strongest, and witches are believed to gather. To ward off evil, people light large bonfires on the hills and throw burning brooms into the fire as a symbolic ritual. Today, this festival has taken on more of a community spirit, becoming a lively gathering that marks the end of winter and welcomes spring. Not stopping there, Christmas in the Czech Republic also has many distinctive features compared to most of the world. Children here do not wait for Santa Claus to appear on the night of December 24th. Instead, the Christmas atmosphere begins earlier, with a ceremony that takes place on the night of December 5th, known as Čert a Mikuláš Day. On this night, a character named Mikuláš, inspired by the image of a historical bishop, along with the angel Andiel and the devil Čert, goes door to door to visit families with young children. Mikuláš assesses whether the children have been good or naughty. Andiel brings candies and small gifts, while Čert appears with a frightening demeanor to intimidate. Good children are rewarded, while naughty ones are threatened with being put into a sack of coal and dragged down to hell. However, they still have the chance to recite a poem or sing a song to plead for mercy. If they perform well, Mikuláš will overlook their misdeeds. Andiel will hand out candies, and Čert will retreat, promising to return the following year. Number 12. Unsolved locations. In the mountainous region of northern Czech Republic, nestled within the tranquil forest near the village of Želízy, two colossal faces are carved directly into the sandstone cliff. Locals refer to them as Čertovy hlavy, or devil's heads. Each face stands nearly 10 meters tall, with hollow eyes, wide-open mouths, and fierce expressions as if they are watching every movement along the trail below. What makes this place captivating is not only the impressive size, but also the sense that these faces seem to shift in expression. As the light changes throughout the day, the features of the stone faces also transform. At times, they appear serene, while at others, they look menacing or distorted in an inexplicable way. Many claim to see the details vibrating slightly, even though they are merely sandstone. On foggy mornings, the two faces nearly vanish completely, only to gradually re-emerge among the trees, creating the impression that they have just materialized from the air. Nevertheless, there are no historical records clearly documenting the original purpose of the monument or explaining the phenomena, aside from the fact that it was created in the 19th century. Since then, the area has been associated with folklore suggesting that one should not linger here after dark, as the feeling of being watched becomes very pronounced, even when no one is around. Leaving the forest and heading towards the city of Děčín, by the banks of the Elbe River, visitors encounter another phenomenon that leaves many puzzled. This is the Devil's Stone, a massive boulder weighing several tons that can be moved with just the push of a person. When positioned correctly and with a gentle force applied, the entire stone begins to sway slightly, despite appearing to be motionless on the ground. The perplexing aspect is that no one has been able to pinpoint the exact pivot point or balance axis of the stone. Scientific studies have attempted to explain this phenomenon through principles of natural balance, but measurements indicate that the stone's center of gravity is not perfect enough to allow for such easy movement. For centuries, locals have believed that this is where evil spirits once placed their hands on the ground, causing the stone to lose its usual stability. At one point, the Devil's Stone was even used as a test of truthfulness, as it was believed that liars would be unable to make it move. To this day, despite numerous observations and experiments, the phenomenon of the stone swaying under minimal force remains without a unified explanation, continuing to challenge conventional human understanding. Number 13. Must-try dishes in the Czech Republic. When it comes to Czech cuisine, the dish you are almost certain to encounter at any traditional restaurant is svíčková. This beef dish is regarded by Czechs as a symbol of national cuisine and often appears on important occasions such as weddings or family celebrations. The hallmark of svíčková lies in its sauce, made from pureed vegetables, which has a mild sweetness and creamy richness, typically served with steamed bread dumplings, knedlíky. Each plate usually comes with a slice of lemon, cranberry jam, and whipped cream. This combination may seem unfamiliar to many, but for Czechs, it is the standard recipe and rarely altered. Another dish closely associated with Czech beer culture is vepro knedlo zelo. This dish consists of roasted pork, dumplings, and sauerkraut, forming a familiar trio in everyday meals. Vepro knedlo zelo is so popular that many Czechs consider it the default lunch option. In traditional beer halls, this dish is often served throughout the day, even late into the evening. If you see a golden fried cheese served as a main dish, it is likely smažený sír. This is one of the few vegetarian dishes widely popular in the Czech Republic, typically enjoyed with French fries and tartar sauce. What surprises many tourists is that this dish is not considered fast food. For Czechs, fried cheese is a serious choice for a main meal, rather than a side dish or snack. Moving on to street food, the name tardelník appears in most tourist areas, especially in Prague. This cylindrical pastry is grilled over charcoal and coated with sugar and cinnamon. What many people don't know is that trávník is not a traditional Czech dish, but has only gained popularity in recent decades. Nevertheless, it has become a familiar part of the street food experience, often enjoyed hot and sometimes stuffed with ice cream or chocolate to entice tourists. A dish that embodies tradition more distinctly is Czech-style goulash. Unlike the Hungarian goulash, which is often served as a soup, the Czech version has a thicker, heartier consistency and is served as a main course. Goulash is typically enjoyed with dumplings or bread and is almost always found in beer halls. This dish is usually prepared in large quantities, making it suitable for gatherings and often considered the ideal choice after a long day or a beer drinking session. Number 14. Cost of living in the Czech Republic. When considering living in the Czech Republic, the primary concern for many people is often the monthly cost of living. This expense varies significantly depending on the city you choose. In Prague, the vibrant capital that attracts a large number of foreigners, the rent for a one-bedroom apartment typically ranges from $700 to $1,000 per month. In contrast, in less touristy cities like Brno or Ostrava, rental prices are considerably lower, usually between $400 and $650 for a similar space. Food costs are one of the factors that many people appreciate about life in the Czech Republic. If you primarily cook at home and buy groceries from supermarkets or local markets, a budget of around $250 to $300 per month is usually sufficient for basic needs. In the case of dining out frequently, the costs are also not too burdensome. Traditional pubs and local restaurants serve typical Czech dishes at quite reasonable prices, often ranging from $6 to $12 for a full meal. Therefore, many foreigners remark that eating out in the Czech Republic is not an extravagant expense. Regarding transportation, the public transport system in major cities is highly regarded for its extensive coverage and convenience. For about $15 to $25 per month, you can use unlimited access to buses, trams, and the metro. As a result, the need for personal vehicles decreases significantly, helping to save on additional costs related to fuel and maintenance. Overall, the monthly cost of living in the Czech Republic typically falls within the range of $950 to $1,900. Number 15. Tips for traveling to the Czech Republic. When you set foot in the Czech Republic, especially in Prague, one of the most common situations tourists encounter is the currency exchange booths that appear very legitimate but have unfavorable terms. Some places display large exchange rates that seem very attractive at first glance, but those rates only apply to specific denominations or very particular conditions. After completing the transaction, you may find that the amount you receive is much lower than expected due to additional fees or different rates being applied. Some booths even allow refunds within a few hours. But this is only true if you read the fine print on the receipt and return to the exact location. Many tourists, either hesitant to go back or unaware, end up accepting their losses. Another common trick in the city center involves strangers approaching you and offering quick currency exchanges right on the street. They often appear friendly, claiming that their rates are better than those of banks or official exchange booths. The problem is that the money you receive might be old currency that is no longer in circulation, or it could be from another country that looks very similar to the Czech koruna. By the time you realize this, the money changer has vanished, and nearby shops cannot assist you. In touristy restaurants, you should also pay close attention to the bill before settling up. Some places automatically add service charges or seating fees without clearly notifying you. Some restaurants even provide menus without prices, especially in square areas or near famous attractions. When you finish ordering and receive the bill, the prices can be significantly higher than average. This is not always a scam, but it is a way to take advantage of tourists' lack of vigilance. In bars or nightclubs, be cautious of offers for free drinks. There have been cases where tourists are invited into a bar, given a complimentary first drink, but then charged for items they never ordered. When disputes arise, staff may pressure you, claiming that the prices were posted or that you agreed to them. In such situations, it is often safer to leave right away rather than stay to explain. So we have just gone through 15 interesting facts about the Czech Republic together. If you found this video helpful, please hit like, leave a comment sharing the detail that surprised you the most, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue following our upcoming exploration journeys around the world. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and see you in the next video.